And we are live once again. Hello and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel. Hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum, and welcome to Surviving Romance. This is the second live stream of Surviving Romance that we have done today. The first one was a little choppy, so I apologize, but I think the message still came across. If not, we can always delete it, go back and do it again. It's no big deal. But one of the things that we love to do on Surviving Romance is we love to cook. Husbands, the way to a woman's heart is through her stomach. It used to be the other way around, but times have changed. And we've had to adapt and overcome. Our wives today, girlfriends, fiancés, and it is a new age, if you will, for couples. That being said, our other halves are in the professional world, so we need to take heed that they too work. So it's up to us to sometimes put a nice meal on the table. So if you're like a lot of people, short on cash, or if you're like a good friend of mine that this is partially dedicated to him and his wife, and you've kind of messed things up and you want to have a dinner for two and try to talk it out, well, that's okay. I understand. And sometimes we're strapped on cash. You could take them out. And there's nothing wrong with taking your other half out. But that can get pricey, okay? And if you're short on cash, hey, Prince Magnum is here to help. So, what I have picked up today, some of this you'll probably already have in your own home. Some of it you're going to have to go pick up. But if you go over and see our friends at Country Mart, they can hook you up with some nice spaghetti. Now I know what y'all thinking. Prince Magnum, spaghetti and meatballs, spaghetti and meat sauce. Actually, no, that's not. That's an American concept. Spaghetti is really supposed to be rolled with, olive oil and cheese put on it and things like that. Spaghetti and meatballs. If you went over to Italy and you asked for something like that, they'd be like, "You're from the United States." They would spot you right away. That's an American idea. The pasta, though, that's definitely Italian. But we'll get to that in a second. I did pick this up, and I actually picked this up for $1, believe it or not. So you can get pasta very cheap, and it's good pasta. It's good pasta. Durum wheat, which is, just look into it sometime. I won't bore you all to tears, but basically your spaghetti, you could easily pick up for a song, okay? Now, if you're gonna talk like your heavier sauces, to pasta, which we have already done here on the Prince Magnum channel, or spirals like this rotini. Either one would work just fine for your heavy sauces like a tomato sauce, meatballs, all that good stuff. That's what this is designed for. This sort of stuff because of its shape. This is designed for light oils. Okay? So, however, Princess Faye did ask if she doesn't want to use the spaghetti noodles today. She wants shaped pasta. So you can, basically, if you will, for more authentic style Italian cooking, I would say it's perfectly okay to change these out for this, use anything like this for this recipe. But if you're going to go with a heavier sauce, go directly to anyhow. So, we've established that. We'll get into the rest of the ingredients here in just a moment. But the most important ingredient, if you're going to cook pasta, water. So, I know there's one of my favorite TV chefs, Chef Alton Brown of the TV show Good Eats, says it takes a gallon. I would say that I would agree, and you would need a pot this big for the spaghetti, because I don't know why people just snap it in half. That's not what you're supposed to do. But for your shaped stuff, Honestly, as long as the water covers it by at least 3 inches, I think you'll be okay. Um, it's just one of those things. Let's start getting this thing up to a boil. And if you're like me, crank it up all the way on high because our stove is crappy. Okay, just one of them things. Now, for the rest of this, while we're waiting for this to come to a boil, let's talk about something that you probably already got in your home. Okay, black pepper. You're going to need it for this, and salt. Now, if you're like me, kosher salt. Kosher salt is an absolute must in this household. We cannot use regular table salt. It messes with my heart. It makes me sick as heck. It must be something to do with the iodine. So we go directly to kosher salt. Again, we did talk about in the last video, there are specialty salts, but I would say that I wouldn't use it in the pasta. Okay? So, while we're here, let's go ahead and start salting the water. Seawater is what it should taste like. There we go. Now, let's while this is coming to a boil, let's talk about ingredients. All right. Right now I'm swapping back and forth between my spectacles, that's with an S, and the glasses because I know at a certain point I'm going to be on camera. All right. Again, 1 pound of pasta. Extra virgin olive oil. You're going to need it this time, okay? This particular one, $1. So $1, $1, okay? Natural sliced almonds, or the whole, or whatever you can get your hand on. And for the record, very healthy, very healthy. You're going to need 2 bags of this, about a cup. And you're going to need some Parmesan or Asiago cheese. And some, basically, Country Mart offers a parsley that comes like this. It's dried out. It's not going to bother anything. Basically, you rehydrate it with the food, and believe it or not, it's just like fresh, okay? Stays on the shelf for a long time. So, all of these items right here, along with some Asiago cheese or Parmesan cheese, all total, on the receipt, we spent, believe it or not, $14.41. More than enough money to buy a couple of roses afterwards if you've screwed up that bad. Or candlelight dinner for 2. So, there you have that. Now, while we're on the subject of hard cheeses like Asiago or Parmesan cheese, please, please, please do not get the stuff in the green canister, okay? A lot of times that's been cut with all sorts of other stuff, and it's been preservatives have been added, and there's some preservatives. Basically, if you go to read a preservative and you swear to God you're reading the side of a paint can, just put it back.
Do we have one of those to use as an example?
A what?
One of the green canisters?
No, we don't.
Okay.
We don't keep that stuff here. However, get the good ones, you're going to need one of these. I found that for the harder cheese, the slots like this are just fine. You could use this, but it just kind of makes a powdery mess. And this makes shreds way too big. And this, more for sliced cheese. Okay? That's all you need. Cheese grater for that, okay? Now, if you have it on hand, it's perfectly okay. You're going to need, if you have it on hand, not necessary. And 4 to 5 cloves of minced garlic. If you have it. If you don't have it, ain't nobody going to throw a fit about it. Thank you, dear. While we're doing this live stream, if any of you have any questions, Princess Faye will be able to read those back to me, and we're going to basically go from there. I'll be able to try to answer your questions as much as possible as we're cooking, okay? So, onward and upward.
Come up with good questions, otherwise I won't even acknowledge them.
And we're going to stay on the topic of cooking. All right, back in camera shot. Now, this is the debut of me using this apron. Winter solstice, if I remember correctly. Princess Faye made this apron, and it says, it's not a mess, it's a recipe. So, I couldn't, I was just dying to use this on camera. And I get a chance today. So.
Get close so they can see the words.
Can you see it okay now?
Stand up straight. There we go. Look at that.
Fantastic.
I have awesome jobs.
I love it. All right. So, and we are still waiting. Folks, again, I have a very crappy stove, but hey, no big deal. Now, we got the water boiling. You've seen the ingredients. Now, and you know that we've already shredded up our Parmesan. I did buy Asiago, but that's for another recipe in the future. Okay? Which at Country Mart where I live, same price. You're going to need some spring-loaded tongs. Or, if you're using the shake, okay, where's my pasta spoon?
It might be dirty.
Where is it?
It might be in the sink.
Might be in the sink. Okay.
It's the ones that have the, like the claw.
Oh, here it is. Here we go.
Yeah, like that.
Okay. Either one. If you're doing the spaghetti, spring-loaded tongs. If you're doing the shaped or the spirals or anything like that, this is what you want. Which, again, Princess Faye decided she didn't want the regular spaghetti noodles this time, but for this recipe, you can swap them out if you need to. So, we're going to take our slotted spoon today. All right. You're going to need a colander. Now, this colander has been with me for like 600 years or something like that. But they make good plastic ones. They're reasonably priced. But again, I've had this thing a very, very long time. So we're going to go ahead and use this old thing. About time to retire this one. You're going to need a glass or wooden bowl. Okay? Glass or wood. And there's a reason for that. We'll get to that later. All right. Are we getting close? This thing sucks. All right. All right. So, is there anybody who's popped on yet? Nope, not yet? Okay, okay. Now, while we're also on the subject of water, and I've briefly brought this up in other videos, we're going to do it again. If your tap water is questionable, or you just don't like the taste of it, tastes more like the city pool, get one of these, okay? Buying bottled water, even in the milk jugs, okay? That's hard on the landfill. Now, yes, they can be recycled, but how many people really do? Okay? How many people really do? So, the filter in here, you replace every couple of months, and the filters at Walmart, the great value ones, like what's in here, because this is a great value setup, they're about $5, okay? And you can still use your city tap water, just filter it through. It doesn't take like the city pool at the Y. And if you live in areas where there's a possible problem with lead, they do offer filters that filter out lead particulate matter. Because that's a heavy metal, and not the kind of heavy metal we like, okay? Wow. Now, I think I've pretty well covered that much. Now, I know some of you are going to be asking, Prince Magnum is the olive oil for in here. No, do not do that, okay? And you'll understand why soon enough, because you hear that it helps break up the possible boilovers. That's not, no, you'll still get boilovers. And some of them, people will say, well, it helps, it doesn't do anything, it's a waste, okay? Again, Chef Alton Brown already busted that myth. All right? It doesn't really do anything other than just waste expensive oils, which extra virgin olive oil is not cheap. All right. Are we getting close to bubblage yet, or what? Probably, or what? We're getting there. All right. All right. Again, while we're still waiting, if all you have as far as black pepper is the stuff in a can, hey, I understand, okay? But you can get the regular ground black pepper like this cheap now. Our friends over at Dollar Tree sell this for $1. Please, if you can get it, do get it. You'll find that the fresh ground stuff is superior to the stuff inside of a can. When you start talking spices like this, not herbs, but spices like black pepper, well, the funny thing about that is, as soon as you start grinding away, it starts losing its punch. So the stuff you get in a can has already lost its punch. I don't know about you, but it's kind of like if you were buying a bottle of champagne, would you have them uncork it at the store? I don't think so. Nope. Black pepper is best had whenever it's fresh ground. Okay? Still getting closer. We're going to leave that open just like that so maybe I can kind of hear it a little better. All right. Now, here just shortly, we're going to get on with this. Gosh, man. I probably should have started this sooner, but that's okay. I was almost expecting that some people might poke on and ask questions. All right. Let's see. Covered that. Covered that. Now, real quick, while we're on this subject. Let's see. No, we don't have any pots ready. We'll skip that for the next episode. All right. Let's see. Now, while we are on the subject, if you have a loved one who cannot have nuts, you can swap out stuff in this particular case. Crumbled up bacon. If I'd had more time, we'd have done crumbled up bacon for this, but I think we've used bacon in quite a few episodes already of Surviving Romance, so we could skip it this time. We're gonna do health food this time. Okay. Now I know some of you also are saying, Prince Magnum, what about the whole wheat pastas? What?
Keep talking. You're good. Just keep talking.
I'm not a big fan of those. I really don't like them. It's nothing against them. It's just that, the old Durham wheat pasta has carried us all these years, and it's, what I like. I mean, I've tried the whole wheat, and it's a totally different animal, okay? Maybe we might try that here on Surviving Romance, but for right now, let's stick with tradition in this case. I'm not a big fan of them. I really don't like the way they taste. And to be honest with you, you pay a whole lot more money, you pay a whole lot more. I mean, to me, that's just not cost effective, okay? And to tell you the truth, most people think that pasta, the Durham wheat pasta comes directly from Italy. That is not true. Believe it or not, in the Dakotas, I believe it's South Dakota, actually makes some pretty dang good Durham wheat. Okay, they grow some of the best. And from what I understand, and from what I tasted, it's just as good as the stuff from Italy. So, go figure. This thing sucks. But I know we're close. Let's see. Oh, on the subject of extra virgin olive oil, high heat. Do not use this for high heat. It's good for pasta. It's good for salad dressings. It's good in putting in dipping sauces, things like that. Can you change it out for regular cold press? Yeah, you can. But it wouldn't be as good, okay? And again, I bought this for $1 at, believe it or not, Country Mart right here in Bon Terre. And to me, $1 for that little bit is actually pretty good because, again, extra virgin olive oil can get really pricey. If there's any other fruitier oils out there, like grapeseed, not tried it yet.
It does sound good though.
It does sound good. We're getting close. How close? I want her at a rolling boil. Now, by now the kosher salt has already dissolved. It's going through the pot. It'd be just fine. Just fine. Again, you can use shallower pots for, this stuff, but do me a favor, don't do that, okay? There's a specific way, and if it hadn't been for Princess Faye wanting something different, I would be able to show you. But basically, we would take the lid off, we'd take this out of the package, and we would fan it around using our tongs to kind of poke it down into the water as it starts hydrating, okay? We'll do that in another episode. You all get to see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a lot of effort, but it's worth it. Trust me. We are pretty well there. So, without further ado, let's go ahead. Penne Regatta or Rotini?
Rotini.
Rotini it is. Now, scissors, rip the bag open, or you could be just, this is the Prince Magnum channel. And you could just get medieval slicing. All right. Now, 1 pound of rotini pasta goes in. Lid on, not all the way. Keep an eye on it. Folks, this is where things are going to start to change on you, okay? Now, because we put this in, the pasta is going to release starch into the water. Give it a stir. Give it a stir. Almost forgot to give it the first stir, okay? And now it has released its starches into the water, which means that the boiling point is going to start to raise. Temperature management is key, or you'll start getting boilovers. And if you want to clean that mess up, by all means. But we don't want to do that. We want to try to avoid a boilover. It's not to say that it's not going to happen in this live stream. It could very well happen. But since it's water, it's not a big deal. But if this was oil, different story. Now, because we don't want to do boilovers and we don't want the cleanup, this is not the time to go wander off and contemplate your navel. This is not the time to go off and check Facebook, Twitter, or anything else. You stay put. Get yourself, see what I mean?
Convenient that should happen right as you start to walk away.
See what I mean, folks? Temperature management. Keep her at a near rolling boil, as close to a rolling boil as you can. Okay? And grab yourself a lovely beverage. Okay? I don't care. See what I mean? That's perfect. It only takes a few seconds. Okay? And this is one of those safety things also while we're on the subject. If you have pets, like we have Galaxy and Taver, or you have little ones running around, this is definitely a time to keep an eye on, okay? Definitely a time. So that's why I said don't wander off, okay?
Pets shouldn't be in the kitchen anyways.
Right. However, that doesn't mean they won't get in. So, and kids, well, Mom and Dad always told me, when I got old enough, moved out, they told me, they said, we always knew when you kids were up to something, you got quiet. But the last thing you want is it to go quiet and the next thing you hear is your kids scream. Okay, so don't wander off. All right? I don't care if Bigfoot's crossing your front yard and you want to go grab the kid. No, stay put. which is exactly what we're going to do. Now, honey, has that anyone bothered to log on yet? It's okay. It's okay. All right. Let's see. Current events while we're waiting. I have a live stream that will be coming up, which one of the things I love about live streams is it forces me to really stay on par, okay, to stay on top of things. Because at that point I can't run off and check my facts or anything else, so I have to stay on task. And we're going to do this with an in-your-face for a good, for a new subscriber, friend of Burt TV, and a member of the Maverick Nation, gentleman by the name of Christian. He asked me the right questions in one of my last live streams, and because of that, I really, it's one of those ones that deserves its own episode, and I've been avoiding this one for a little while, but Christian, you asked it, and I have to answer it, so we're going to do that as quickly as possible. Because I think honestly it is one that does need to be brought up, and in your face is always a good place to call out the government on its BS. Give you a little insight, a touch of insight right there. Okay, back to surviving romance. All right, here we go. Now, this is definitely a time we've been in a few moments. Some of you are probably wondering how we're going to check for doneness. Okay. Some people will, they'll smash it under a table leg or a chair leg. They'll throw it against the wall. This is not a joke. I have a friend. He checks his spaghetti noodles and basically throws it at the wall. If it sticks, it's done. We're not going to do that. That is ridiculous and unsanitary. Some people. There we go.
Only unsanitary if he puts it back into the pot.
Okay.
I should hope he doesn't.
Not quite done. Still got a little bit of crunch. We're going to taste it, okay? Basically, what we're looking for is that point where the back teeth still have a little bit to get a hold of, if you will. That little extra something, or you could take it a little bit more. But however, if you're trying to take it all the way to mush, I just don't know what to tell you. I like the teeth to be able to have just a little bit of something to get a hold of. Okay, after that, to me, it's just pudding. Okay, it's just weird. I'm getting that look. Ongoing. I won't say it's a debate in this household. It's a debate.
There's no debate. I prefer my pasta a little overcooked.
I'm not even going to get started on camera. I'm not even going to get started. Now, real quick, some of you also may be asking the question, Prince Magnum, why did you salt the water and not salt it afterwards? For some reason, if you don't do it this way, the pasta just never really lives up to its full potential. And I have found that any starchy product, like wheat, potatoes, rice, if you don't salt it at a certain time, it just doesn't, it tastes dead, okay? Again, I'm gonna really focus on that whole thing. Cooks don't salt food to make it taste salty. Good cooks salt food to make it taste better, to enhance the flavor. Something to do with the ionic properties, that I'm not scientific enough for that, okay? Go talk to a scientist. All right. Again, back to taste testing. Ow. Right in that ballpark area. You know what good pasta should taste like. But we're going to go ahead and I'm going to kill the heat. And I'm going to give it a few moments to kind of slow down. Okay? Because right at that point where, it technically is done, but again, Princess Faye likes it a little bit past the actual done state, so that's where we're going to go ahead and take it. But it is done, okay? We're just going to give it a few more moments, all right? Now, this is definitely a time to get your colander on deck. In the sink, okay? And just bear this in mind. It's very easy. We are not going to rinse the pasta. If you're going to refrigerate this pasta, go ahead and rinse. You know, if you're going to put it in the refrigerator, definitely rinse it. But if not, don't bother if you're going to be taking it directly to the table, okay? So, and the boil has stopped at this point. So, go ahead and drain this off. Do be careful, it is going to be ridiculously hot. The steam came up and fogged up my shades for just a moment. All right. Now, definitely the time to have your glass bowl or unvarnished wooden bowl on hand. Now, some of you might be asking, would plastic be okay? Not so much in this case. Or would metal be okay? Well, not really. Okay? The reason why we're going directly to a glass bowl in this case, or if you have it, a wooden one, is because glass or wood won't suck the heat out like metal will. And plastic, because we're adding an oil to it, a fat. Well, fat and polymers have a lot in common. So when you go to put it in the dishwasher, well, good luck. You know, it's going to take you a little bit. Now, this is definitely the time. All right. Let's add a little bit of flavor to this. Again, if you have some minced garlic, please nothing from the can or the jar, the real stuff, chopped up real fine. We've got 4 or 5 clovers right here, so that will go in definitely at this point. Okay. Boom. Don't worry, even though it's raw garlic, there's enough heat right here to help cook it. Okay? And we're going to pop the top on our olive oil, just a little bit to start with. When it starts to, you're going to add a little bit here and there, and as it starts to take on kind of that new car shine, that's what you're looking for, okay? When it starts to take on that look, that's what you're after. I'm going to have to step off camera, swap out glasses so I can see this perfectly. Because we don't want to overdress, if you catch my meaning. Okay, don't want to overdress. Okay, we're going to add a little bit more.
Why don't we move the bowl right there?
Right there so they can get a good look at it. So they can see exactly what we're looking at. There we go.
I just want to make sure it's centered.
Just like that. Now, it's definitely the time. See, that's what we're looking for. That start of a new car shine, just as I was talking about.
It's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to give you
Go
all some
ahead.
extra light.
There you go. See that nice sheen to it?
Give it a stir while the light's on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what you're looking for.
Kind of see some of it.
Yeah.
Sort of.
There you go. All right, now, definitely, time for the almonds. Again, change it out for bacon. Black beans if you want, okay? Black beans, any type of bean, really, whatever your flavor. This is one of those universal dishes. Also a great way to get rid of leftovers like beans, onions, try carrots, celery, all sorts of stuff like that. Put it in there while the pasta's still warm. It warms it through. Absolutely fantastic. But again, we're just doing slivered almonds. And we're going to take our paring knife because this is the Prince Magnum channel and I'm perfectly okay being killer. Joke, people. Joke. Just like that. Again, if you don't have the actual garlic, Don't try garlic powder. Don't try anything.
Well, garlic powder is fine. It's garlic salt you don't want.
Right.
But fresh is still always more preferred.
Right, in this particular case. And garlic will keep in your pantry. It depends. It depends on when the store got it. Okay. There we go. There's one. And two. Okay. Again, this is healthy for you. It's not that bad. You know, swap out the ingredients that you need. You know, if you have certain allergies or anything like that, you know, swap out your ingredients. You guys know what you can handle. Okay. This is just kind of one of those universal ones. Okay. And top it off with our parsley. As much as you want, or as little as you want. And then as we stir it in, no, it's perfectly okay. And the moisture will help rehydrate it. I'm making a mess.
It's okay, I still love you.
One of us will clean it up. It'll probably be me. Clean it up! Damn you. There you go. Alrighty. And, of course, you could add it if you wanted, the Asiago or Parmesan freshly grated, as we said. Or you can let the other half decide how much they want in their bowl. Which is what we're going to do in this particular case. Because, you know, I like a little bit. Sometimes I like a lot. Just depends on my mood. And, of course, our specialty bowls, Princess Faye's, and, of course, mine. And because I want Princess Faye to go ahead and start eating right away. I want her to enjoy hers. We're going to go ahead and top it off. Again, you can see everything in there. Almonds. But
that's perfect amount for that bowl.
Perfect amount. Okay, perfect.
Don't want to overfill it. Because I like to smother mine in Parmesan.
Which, I'll go ahead and have Princess Faye do that. She can go ahead and start smothering that down. Go ahead and get my bowl. Hey, cook's got to get theirs, right? And again. There. See? That's starting to look like something. And because it's in the glass bowl, it'll be a long while before it cools off. So plenty of time to get seconds, no hurry. Now, if you're dressing for a table for two here in the privacy of your own home, candlelight dinner for two that you're doing yourself, that looks good for presentation. Okay? Just like that. Just like that. Here we go. And there you go. Serve with a fork next to it. And there you have it. A simple pasta dish. You can take away, add to, whatever you want. You can do it all day long for under $15. And it'll be just as good as some of those more expensive restaurants that you sometimes like to think that you have to take your other half to. So there you go. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button and hit that subscribe button. Oh, before I forget, we do have leftover extra virgin olive oil. Do me a favor, put this in your pantry in the dark, kept tightly sealed. It will keep for a long time. If you put it out in the light or you leave the cap off, or things like, or you put it where there's a lot of stinky stuff and the cap is off, this will go bad, okay? So don't do that, okay? The stuff gets expensive. All right.
I'll put it away for you.
Thank you. All right. Again, back to what we're back to the usual ending. If you like this, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're really savvy, you're going to hit the bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a brand new video. If you'd like to see more stuff like this, leave it in the box below. Or if there's a particular recipe that's simple and easy on the pocketbook that you would like to see happen on here, please, please leave a comment in the box below, definitely. And I will definitely see what I could do about doing that recipe, along with anything else that you think that I should give a shot, all right? Let's see. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and be sure to check out my Patreon account. You've heard me talk about the giveaway. Then August, basically, the deadline is August the 7th. Whoever can donate the most to the Prince Magnum channel, this is definitely your opportunity to get some neat little items that I have picked up over time. I will tell you that one of the things that is already in that box is a pocket-sized big book, which I will be autographing and leaving words of AA wisdom for whoever, if maybe it's you or someone you know who definitely could use that book. All right? That brings us to the usual spot. Get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Idle hands and a creative mind make horrible bedfellows. Also, if you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. You might make them this particular dish or a variation of. Just do it. I love it. I love it. Oh, man. I love that guy. Hey, thank you.